Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Revive to Stage with myself, Steve Hall, and Pascal Floor. And we actually have a guest this time, which is super exciting, and it's not AJ Morris. We've got someone who doesn't wear a baseball cap all the time, who has had a fresh haircut for the show in particular. So if you haven't been watching on YouTube and you're listening to on iTunes, you're missing out because it's looking pretty fine. And we were just talking about we all know each other and we know Luke quite well, and his weight loss so far for his natural bodybuilding show, which is what we're going to be talking about, has been incredible. And kind of the facial transformation, just like sitting here talking to him, has been like from puffer fish to a gaunt dory type fish. So it's going to be really exciting talking to him because we're actually doing the same show. So me and Luke are going to be doing the UK DFBA in about 10 weeks time or so. And so that's interesting, but it's also
10
exciting.
Weeks, 2 days.
10 weeks, 2 days. So Luke knows I've got one in 6 weeks. So I'm doing one beforehand as well, just because there's one before.
Warm up.
Warm up. And so we're going to be talking about, it's going to be nice and chatty about Luke's a family man. He has a son, he has a wife, and obviously you guys probably know Luke from Shredded by Science, which is a huge company who do tons of online content, and they're producing great stuff all the time. And obviously Luke is the owner, so he has a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And we were interested to hear about kind of how do you balance those things, because we've talked about it tons on Revive to Stage about kind of stress. It gets really tough. So I don't know if Pascal, did you want to ask kind of a leading question? Do you have something in mind?
That was a lovely introduction by you, Steve. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to add a slick haircut, actually. This is all I wanted to say. Looking good. Looking good.
I've got some lines in there just because Lenny's a fan. My son is a fan of Flash, and he got it. He's actually in Turkey, and they had the earthquake last night. So I'm getting texts at 4:30 going, "There's been an earthquake." I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" But they're fine. So that was good. Yeah, but he's really into Flash. So I said, when you go away, I'll get my haircut and I'll put Flash lines.
Why aren't you together with them in Turkey?
Because this is my holiday. And they're away. This is my holiday. It's a weird one. Obviously, we'll probably touch base on the family side of things in a lot more depth. But as you know, 10 weeks out, I went to Disney World end of May. And I managed to come back exactly the same weight.
In Disneyland? Where everything is like... Perhaps it's because everything is magical there. Even the calories.
Macros are magical. They just don't count.
Exactly. No, but Luke, what might be a good start here is to give us a little bit about your background, when you started, your contest prep, how it went so far, and everything like that. Would be awesome.
Cool. I think I started my contest prep on February the 10th. I'm about 24 and a bit weeks in, 25 weeks in. I've dropped 17.1 kg. The good thing of being 100 kg and beyond fluffy, you can't even call that fluffy. That's just fat. Let's be honest. Is that you're going to get good before and afters, and this is I should actually start taking on people as online clients, because I'll be rolling in it once I get my before and afters.
Oh yeah.
But then afterwards, people will be like, "Can you coach me?" Yeah, no, because as you know, that's not where. Even though we do take on online clients, we don't focus on contest prep. If they want a contest prep, go and see 3DMJ, go and see you guys. You can do all of that. But yeah, so it's been 25 weeks, and let's get one thing straight. You've interviewed bodybuilders. I am not a bodybuilder. I just much prefer bodybuilding type training than powerlifting. Like anything under 8 reps, I'm like, what the hell is this? What is this 2+ minutes rest? What is this heavy weight on my joints, and where is the pump? Like I need the pump. And when I look back on my training, I always used to do sport when I was younger. So it started off with karate, then I got into fitness probably around 16. I started going to the public gyms, and all resistance machines were the only things you can use. And then when I was actually at university, 18, 19 is when I started lifted like a bro, but I fucking loved them days. Days when you didn't really know what you was doing. So every set was to failure. and every set was chest, tries like. That was the training that I actually loved doing. It wasn't, so I think when you start getting more and more educated and you respect the science, but I think you can go to one extreme and you end up going, well, the science shows this. And then you end up just going full, that's bro science. And it's like, but at the end of the day, if you really enjoyed that way of training, as in I like high rep stuff, I like feeling the pump. I don't like waiting long between rests. I like doing supersets. So now it's over time and working with Eric Helms, he's my coach. It's just working together so that you have got your big rocks in place and then you've got that stuff that you enjoy. And for me, it was just having that communication with Eric and saying, look, Eric, I don't like this heavy shit. Let's be honest, there's not much mass to lose here. So if we can naturally accumulate more volume if we stick between the typical 8 to 12 rep range, because I can just get more total volume with that and in a deficit. So we tweak things slightly, and I don't. Let's be honest, I don't really enjoy training. But I'm not this guy who's like in the gym. I think the difference between, and I've said like, even when before we come on there, I was like, this dieting game is easy. I've been dieting 25 weeks. I'm 10 weeks out, and I feel fresh. I'm feeling good. Like, there's no the training last week before obviously the conference. That was a 7-day week, like 5 a.m. to sort of 10 p.m. every single day. And then I went in on Tuesday to train, and I didn't have. It was the first time I was actually even on a leg press, because I don't do any of the squats or the deadlifts. I only do the bench. There's only one lift. I forget the other powerlifting lift, the big one for me, not the big three. And I was on the leg press in Integra, and even the thought of just sitting down on your arse was too much effort for me. And then I found this thing called caffeine tablets the last 2 weeks, and oh my God. And I honestly thought I've been waiting for the contest, because I know I've prepped people before, and I know like good friends like Steve and Gordon Greenhorn and other people which have prepped, and they've told me about the hormones, the mood swings. I mean, even Gordon Greenhorn, if you're listening, crying on your little vlogs like a little bitch, like getting to them levels. And I'm like, and I never thought I'd compete again. But if this dieting continues to be as easy as it is, after doing a 9-month prep, like I could have a baby. Well, I can't because I'm male. But the girlfriend could have a baby. She's not a wife, Steve. Come on, man, get that right. Don't get her hopes up.
No.
Yeah, and yeah, so I've just been finding it really, really easy up until this point. But I think that's because I don't consider myself a bodybuilder. I mean, in regards to my motivations to do this, it's not to make money. In regards to business, it would have made, I like being different. It would have made sense for me to do this 4 or 5 years ago, to do it then go, oh, now we can get more online clients, Shredded by Science. I thought we can't have a company name called Shredded by Science and not one of us be fucking shredded. It's about time I need to get the shreds, and then I can say I am now officially Shredded by Science. So yeah, it's just been real easy. I mean, I needed something to focus on. If you're going to run a marathon, which I'm definitely not, you know you're running 26.2 miles. Back in the day, I'm a very, very competitive person. So it used to be karate. That was my competition. And then when that went away, I'm all for, if I'm going to do something, I need to go all in on it. Now, I know when I step on stage, I'm not going to win, but I don't care, because I've got that mentality. I'm going to be the most leanest I've ever been. I'm the most leanest I've ever been in my life at this point, because I've got 2 ab veins. Yes, just 2. So that's already an achievement. But just stepping on stage with Steve, Pascal.
Unfortunately.
I don't know if, like, are you going to reveal this? I don't know.
Yeah.
It would have been revealed probably by the time this comes up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it was more of getting on stage and just being with us guys, because let's be fair, wearing your little skimpies and tanned up like an Oompa Loompa, it's not really doing it for me. But knowing that Steve would be on stage with me, and when it's like, okay, everyone pose down, I'm like, I'll just go over to Steve and sort of just give him a nipple. I get this.
Small slap on the shredded glutes.
That's it, just give him a little glute check. Yeah, so it's. I think that's why it's been quite easy to prep, because obviously it's been a slow prep. The rate of weight loss was around 1%, and now it's looking at around 0.5% per week. Even when I started on my macros, you think 100 kg, I was on 2,590. People were like, you could have been on more. Yeah, I could have been, but I fucking had 100 kg of weight. I mean, I had a DEXA scan, so I was 24.4% body fat. But it is what it is, and I really wanted to not enjoy it. Obviously, with like the daily vlog, which is now a weekly vlog, I wanted it to be more like Carl Pilkington from An Idiot Abroad, but me prepping. And I'm like, oh fuck, this is easier than I thought, and actually I'm enjoying it more than I thought I'd be enjoying it. So I was a little bit disappointed. I thought it would have made for good TV. Me going, fuck macros, fuck training, but I've actually embraced it a lot more, and I think that's down to Eric and the 3DMJ guys and making me feel part of it early on.
I was going to say, is there it's really actually really good to hear like your motivations for it, and I think you had good motivations for it as well, because I think a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons, like you talked about, like to do it for money or for fame or to get clients. I think part of the reason I'm doing it, I mean, because we do take on competitors and stuff, it's like I kind of need to compete at some point, just from that angle. But my main motivation is much like yours. Like, I'm not expecting to go out and win. I'm kind of winning for myself, winning for the process. The fact that it's been easier than last time. I've learned things that are going to help me coach people, all of those things, and like life lessons, or kind of build your character in a weird way. Kind of, especially for you, because it's like becoming competitive dieting almost is the way your kind of angles coming at it.
Come at me. The only reason, let's be serious, the only reason why I'm competing is to see if I can still get an erection. But that's what I said at the conference. I'm like, because I want to experience it. And I'll make you right, Steve, because I wouldn't hire a coach who's never competed. Obviously, people hired me as a coach who never competed. But everyone's got their different wants and desires and who they would have coach them. And as you know, I'm definitely a better coach than 99% of other contest prep coaches, because all 99% of the others are Instagram famous, who just have abs, who really dieted really cleanly. And that's what that's the thing. I am doing bodybuilding. I am not a bodybuilder. I do not. I'm not a pair of abs or arse or arms or anything like that. I'm happy. I was happy when I'm 100 kg. I'm happy when I'm 82.9 kg. I'd probably say around this way. I think post competition, around the sort of 84 to 86 kg is probably where I felt the best, and I think I could probably maintain that weight on a very decent amount of calories and not a lot of cardio. So everyone obviously would like to have more abs. So every time I see a mirror now and my veins are popping out, I'm like, I'm looking a little bit more. But yeah, as you said, it's your motivations. I definitely think, obviously, with your thing, it's gaining that experience. It's knowing that I prep clients, but I want to experience it. And to be fair, I've been disappointed up to this point. It's been too easy. I know I'm 10 weeks out, but I've been waiting and waiting. And bearing in mind, I've been dieting for 25 weeks already. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as if I've just been doing a 16, 18 week cut because I had too much fat for that. So I'm just waiting. And I even come up with a quote. I've done an Instagram live. We just put it on Instagram stories. And it was, dieting is dieting. Hunger is hunger. Keep things in perspective and just carry on. Like, we have a fucking decision to diet. We are semi-starving ourselves. So just shut up and accept it. Like, it's a bit of hunger. There's people out there in this world which don't have the luxury of even having that option to eat food. So I think as people, we tend to be very selfish, and we don't keep things into perspective. And mine is, okay, Luke, you're hungry now. And bearing in mind, I am a family man. I've been sitting next to, and I'm moving it now, there's a pack of M&M peanut M&Ms next to me, and that's there. And Jamie and Len ain't there. And you go in the kitchen, we've got crisp up the top. We've got one box of like chocolates, cookies. I put my protein bars in there now. So they're my stuff as well. There's like food tempted. We've got another, like there's there, but you can't expect other people, whether it's girlfriends, children or whatever, we've made the decision to diet. Like, this isn't normal. we are not normal. Most people, like our loved ones and friends, are the normal ones. It's not normal to get down to stupidly low levels of body fat because one, it's not healthy. Two, it's not sustainable. And three, most people which prep end up turning into arseholes. I think even just them being away for a couple of days now, I prefer it when I am busy. You know, when Helms was over, I said, why am I finding it easy? And he said, I think you put a post up today, didn't you, Steve, on the dieting thing on Instagram? So I looked,
touch on this maybe something similar, like why some people find it harder, kind of smaller individuals, these sort of aspects.
And even when Helms was over, he said it just is the case. He said what he tends to find is those which have their own business or those which do have families, because they're so busy all the time, you don't have time to think about food. Like even now when I go home, Lenny's not going to be there, Jamie's not going to be there. It's just going to be me, the laptop, Battlefield 1, and now I'm going to be like, so I actually enjoy being busy because it keeps you occupied. So you're not sitting there and just becoming your own worst enemy going, I'm on 2,290 calories, I'm so hungry, I'm starving. It's like you're still on 200, like my macros are 225 protein, 235 carbs and 50 fat. They started off at 225 protein, 275 carbs and 65 fat, I think, like around 2,590. And so they have dropped, not a massive amount. And my cardio has increased. It did start off at 800 calories per week. And now we're up to 1,400 calories. And guess what? I just walk home from Shoreditch. It's a 50-minute walk, 50 to 55-minute walk. I do that 5 days a week. I save money. I save money on the trains. I walk home. I do my Instagram lives. I don't listen to podcasts. I might do Udemy courses. So I might, at the moment, I'm looking at coding and stuff like that because I like learning. And or I might watch some UFC or whatever it is. It's just making it. It's how you. I think I'm finding it easy because I was getting hungrier before Helms cut my calories. The last time he cut my calories, my hunger levels are not as bad. So you think it doesn't make sense because you cut calories, and therefore you should be hungrier. But what I found was, I mean, if you follow the vlog and stuff, I eat granola every single day. Like I don't eliminate. I know all of the macro friendly foods now. So basically, I can say, if you come to shopping with me, Tesco's, I'll sort you right out. I'll tell you where everything is, because it's just making those small adjustments. So when Helms cut my calories, I was like, about fucking time. Let's get this dieting going. Like, let's actually start feeling like, let's get this non-erection shit going. Let's get to these levels. But because he cut the calories, I already just made a small little tweaks. So one of the tweaks I have is go Tesco's or Sainsbury's. You get the salad bowls for £1. Bang. I eat that before I eat my lunch. It just fills me out. Mm-hmm. And then I just maybe have slightly extended periods of food. Another thing, what I've been doing recently, if I am finding my hunger levels are up, is I'm very competitive. So what I do is I set a timer. I say, I ain't fucking prepping my food until this timer goes off in 35 minutes. Just something small where you've never done that before. But I'm thinking, right, I'm a competitive person. So let's focus on me as a competitive person and go, right, the timer goes. So I'm conditioning myself. No, it's 5:30. If I eat my dinner now, when it gets to 8:30, 9:30, or 9:30 and Love Island's on, and I want to play some Battlefield 1 afterwards, I need to make sure I leave my macro filler. So it's working out what works well for you. So I know when I get home, I need about 1,100 calories with a decent amount of protein, fat, and carbs. But if I've gone over on carbs during the day, every decision you make has an impact later on. There's always an impact of it. There's always a justification, as in, okay, like I had Nando's today, and I realised there's char grilled veg. Yeah, and that's 98 calories. I'm like, fuck, I didn't know about this. Lawrence had it. I've been having the super grain without the sauce, but I still got like 200 calories. And I'm like, yeah. Now I can definitely have the butterfly burger with the bun instead of just the butterfly chicken. So it's just making small little tweaks, and if you do overshoot your calories, to have sort of more single ingredient foods. So if I go low on carbs, I know if I get my total Greek yogurt 0% fat, I can get a decent amount of 500 grams of that, decent amount of protein, not too many carbs, and zero fat. And sometimes it might be I don't have granola, and other times it might be I have my crunchy nut granola, which has higher fat, rather than my crunchy nut cornflake cereal. Like, do you guys do you have your Greek yogurt with crunchy nut cornflakes?
No, I always have quark. Quark is my go-to.
German man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Quark so cheap in Berlin.
Yeah, 60
Yeah.
cents. So around 40 pence per 500 grams package.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We need to, Steve, I think you should create an Instagram post on your grams per pound, as in pound of currency of protein, and like your best bang for buck for your grams per pound. Great British pounds. It's a good one.
No, I mean, just listening to all of this, I don't know, like me and Pascal have talked about how hard people like to make out that prep is, and it's only as hard as you make it. So the fact is you've invested in Helms, who's kind of arguably one of the best, if not the best, kind of coach out there for natural bodybuilding, and you're invested yourself. You know this shit. Like, you're not a kind of amateur to it. So anyone who is kind of making it extremely hard and like complaining loads, it's almost like you probably imagine they've kind of made it harder on themselves than they need to, or they're not making the right choices, these sort of things. And I don't know, so to some of the listeners, they might be thinking, oh, what, like Luke's making this whole thing sound way too easy. Has there been any struggles? Like, has there been any points at which like you've overeaten, or your weight loss hasn't been where you wanted it to, and you stressed out a little bit? Has there been anything? Has your sleep been kind of disrupted? Have you noticed any irritability at all with your family? Has there not been any struggles yet?
The only thing which we struggle is like family events, and you're that guy when it's a barbecue and you're going, here's my chicken breast. Yeah, I mean, I used to mug Tupperware Tony, but you have to be Tupperware Tony. Do you know what I mean? There is no, when you're getting thingy, closer to prep, and every single thing counts. It's just, but I've not really struggled. Obviously, there's been I think my fuse is always short anyway, but it's probably a tiny bit shorter. But that's just when people know you're dieting. They're like, oh, do you want this? Can't you eat this? I'm like, if I could fucking eat it, it would be eaten. Do you know what I mean? Like at Nando's, and Jamie leaves some food, and then it's like, oh, do you want this? I'm like, no. I'm like, I do want it, but no, because if I eat that, it means I'm going to have like a pathetic meal for dinner. So there's obviously, there is changes and stuff like that. I think the events that are less frequent, so like going to work, doing that on like everything you do on a day-by-day basis, I think it's easy because you have a routine, you have structure. But say, for example, I go to Cheshunt World of Adventure because I ain't been to enough theme parks in Disney World in a whole week, so let's go Cheshunt again. It's then when you go there and you associate, because they're not very frequent, you associate certain things. So let's say you don't go to the cinema that often, but when you go to the cinema, you're always having popcorn. And it's not the, what's the yellow one that I have at Tesco's meal deal, whatever that one is.
Popcorn or whatever. Yeah. Skinny.
So it's not that. And then, so you associate those less frequent events with certain types of things. So when I'd go Cheshunt, I'd associate that with the fried chicken place. But I'm just sitting there and I'm just eating a Tesco's meal deal sandwich. Just like, come on now. I just think you really need to keep things in perspective, in that if you've got your health, your family got their health, and all you're doing is a little bit hungry, it's like, come on. It's like, it really, really isn't that hard. Just think there's always someone worse off than you. So when you start feeling sorry for yourself, just going, oh, but I've got my legs. Oh, but I can buy food. Oh, I have a bed. Oh, I have a house. Oh, there's just been an earthquake, or there's just been another terrorist attack. It's like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, there's bigger things to worry about in this world than you feeling a little bit hungry. I know it's a dose of man the fuck up, but it pretty much is that. And going back to what you said, Steve, in regards to some people making it harder than they need it to be. And there's a reason why we find prep quite, well, I'm finding prep easy and you're finding prep quite easy, is because we do not exclude foods. There is no good or bad food. There is no clean or dirty. And even when you look at the research and you compare flexible against rigid diet, because in research, they don't actually use flexible dieting. They don't actually use clean eating. They use rigid versus a flexible dieting approach. And there's countless research which shows that when you tell a group of people you cannot eat bread, there's that one study on bread, the group which could eat bread actually lost more weight. And we've seen it time and time again. A rigid diet will not get you the same amount of rate of weight loss, and the sustainability isn't as good. Now, when you're a flexible dieter, there's dieting, flexible dieting well, and flexible dieting not well, and there's clean dieting well and clean dieting not well. Like, I'm a clean eater, but then I binge, then I have a cheat day. What the fuck's that about? Do you know what I mean? So there's ways you can do it. Yeah, we could hit macros from bad sources, but it'd be a fucking hard to do so, because the amount of food you'll be eating volume wise and just visually looking at it, you'd be like, oh crap. Like, I wanted to do one day where I just set the Nutri-First Tesco protein bars, which are arguably the best protein bars in the whole entire world. It's like a mix between a Boost and a Lion bar. It's very good. It has crunch and softness.
I don't know about them.
Yeah, they were £2 for
you don't
£2.
Want them.
They were £2 for £2, but now they're back to £1.50 each. I've got the bulk powders one as well. Praline ones are very good. If you're next time you're around, I'll chuck you a praline.
I love protein bars. Just by the way.
Yeah, it's just easy. But that's the thing. You could easily eat. I wanted to do a whole day where I just ate those bars, and fuck, they got 10 grams of fat inside. It's just impossible to get all of the protein and carbs in. So it's just making small. Like I incorporate the good foods. So I like the Weight Watchers chocolate Heinz things. I like frozen yogurt.
I was going to say McVitie's Thins have been my go-to recently.
They're the ones, yeah.
Really thick. They're just like half the size of normal biscuits.
But that's the thing. By you including them, it's even like Alan Aragon when he goes on about what's a healthy diet, etc. Is everyone says 80% clean, 20% junk, and whatever. I'm like, fuck, let's just get away from that and this and that. But by me having granola, one, it's like, fuck you, I can get shredded eating granola. And what we're probably add up all my fitness power and work out how many kilograms of granola I've ate over the 9-month prep. But by having those macro-friendly foods, whether it's the protein bars, whether it's the frozen yogurt, it's just making changes. Oh, I can have a whole tub of frozen yogurt for 380 calories rather than that Ben & Jerry's I used to have, which was 1,100 calories. It still tastes good. But those good tasting foods, to me, make me feel like I'm not dieting because I'm still enjoying my food. So it's looking at an inclusive diet. And if I can make sure I say 300 calories a day, out of all of my macros and out of all of my calories, and it's for the foods that taste good, it really they're your little treats, and I purposely try and fit those in. Like, I make sure I find room rather than the other way around. And there is no good or bad food. Like, when you consume foods, it doesn't know. Your body doesn't know whether it's from the Weight Watchers chocolate little beautiful desserts, or whether it's from rice. Like, it all gets broken down. It all glucose, gets stored as glycogen, gets broken down to glucose, then gets converted into adenosine triphosphate. Like, your body doesn't know. It's just you, and you feel guilty. Like, fuck that.
Totally. And hey, Luke, you touched on so many interesting points, and it all boiled down, for me at least, to your mindset on mentality about your contest prep, which also is really interesting to me to hear, because you're not coming from the background in which bodybuilding played such a big role in your life, because you see so many people out there who get attracted by the sport because of Instagram and all that fame around it, and they think they want to actually compete or step on stage, or that it's necessary. So they have somehow a different motivation to step on stage. But for you, you simply do it because you want to kind of prove something to yourself, and you want to also just do the journey. And what is really interesting for me to see then is that you are able to actually stick to the plan, be super committed, and actually trust the process. Because, I mean, when you compare your desire to step on stage, it's, for some people, it might not seem as severe or as important, and you could quit or get pulled out of the whole contest prep immediately because it's not such a big role in your life. But what actually makes you stick with the whole contest prep in general?
Because when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm fucking doing it. Like, there is no, I don't have many strengths. I'm not the best programmer. I'm not the best nutritionist, and I don't want to be. But when I say I'm going to do it, I have obsessive tendencies. So when it's okay, we're going to smash Instagram, we're going all in on it. Bang! I will watch course after course, video after video, boom, boom. If I put my mind, as I said, I either do it or I don't do it, and I just pick my battles well. I just know, right, I'm going to do it. The reason why I'm competing is just that the competitiveness. When I stopped doing karate, I was like, oh, I could do some Muay Thai and MMA, but I'm a bit old now, and like I'd have to go all in on it. So because I couldn't go all in on it, I didn't do it. So over the last 4 years, my competitiveness has translated into the business, as in how many members can we get? How can we do this? How can we reach more people? How can we provide more value? I never look at how much money we can make. I always look at how many signups can we get. So from a business perspective, that was my competition. I feel now that Shredded by Science is 4 years old, Lenny's coming up to 5 years old, I felt that this was the right time for me to be a selfish fuck. As in, to then, let's give me a physical challenge. Let's give me a personal challenge. Let's actually have something to train for. And as I said, I don't naturally like lifting the weights. I'd much rather be playing sports or punching someone in the face than lifting the weight. Like, even now, it's probably going to get haters. Guess what? Bodybuilding isn't a proper sport. Powerlifting isn't a proper sport, in my opinion. Because I'm like, okay, you lift up a weight, you lift a heavy weight. Then there's going to be people who get offense. But for me, as a definition, sport, it's more of what I was brought up with, is more like fighting someone or having that combat where you can actually get fucking hurt. Yeah, you could get hurt lifting a weight. But let's be honest, you pick a weight up off the floor, you push a weight off your chest, and you push a weight off your back. Or you go on stage, lean, and you do some poses. Like, my definition of a sport is like, that maybe you can actually hurt people, and there's more at risk. Like, you can actually get hurt.
You wait till we're on stage, Luke.
I'll be so fucking.
It'll be a battle.
Let's go. This is a sport. It's going back to that mindset thing. Yeah, some of them pose off. Like, if I squeeze too hard, I might just pull that muscle. But that's the thing, because it isn't, because I'm not a bodybuilder, and that whole mindset thing, I'm like, what is the worst that can happen? I'm not the biggest on. I already know I'm not going to be the biggest on stage. I already know I'm probably not going to be the leanest on stage. But it's that physical challenge, that physical experience. And because it isn't a be all and end all, there is no pressure. And the whole reason why I'm finding it easy is back down to my genetic build up or the way I am. And even my brother and sister are different. Like, my sister used to do karate. My brother's totally different from me. And it's just, I'm just a competitive. And this is me competing with myself. Yeah. I'm not competing. And that's the beautiful thing about bodybuilding. When you do it correctly, you don't know who's going to turn up on the stage or on the day. You can't fucking control your genetics. It is a subjective sport. Mm-hmm. Some people will prefer this physique. Some people will prefer that physique. When you do fighting, it isn't subjective. You either knock that person out or they knock you out, which is what I like. As in, you know who's won. Because everyone's going to have a different opinion. Like, we have some people say, well, like, there'll be judges which say Steve should be ranked first, and then there might be someone who say, oh, he should be ranked fifth, or whatever it is. Like, we can only compete against ourselves. Yeah. And when when I think when the 3DMJ conference and Jeff Alberts were doing some posing stuff with Boxy, that was when I looked at him and I was thinking, you look puny, like you're a small man, because he's natural. And then then Jeff started doing the posing with him, and that was when I was like, fuck, like look at this bloke. And even when look at Boxy's like decent, got a decent amount of size, but then once he started hitting the poses, and I actually saw it visually, I was like, damn, that was like another catalyst. There was another to get me. It didn't convince me I'm going to compete. And then when else was it? And then when I went to see Gordon Greenhall, so the competition I competed in, that was the one I went with Gordon. And when you see these guys on stage, oompa loompa'd up, like the tan is beyond tan. They ain't even tan. And they've pumped up. And you've got those lights on them, and the angle as in they're on the stage and everyone's lower down. I went backstage with Gordon, and I go backstage and I'm like, it made me realize I can do it, because when you just see them pumped up, tanned up with those lights, and then you compare to what they look like backstage pre-pumped up with shitty lights, they just look like normal dudes, or most of them look like they barely even lift. Like, we're talking natural bodybuilding. We're not looking at these juiced up bodybuilders, because like you say, bodybuilders, people start thinking of like Ronnie Coleman, Phil Heath, maybe
Big Ramy.
Yeah, they think of them. So whenever you put a post up and you put bodybuilding, you're always going to get some fucking troll being like, do you even lift? And that's the beautiful thing about YouTube. Like, YouTube have the best trolls on there. Like, I really respect the YouTubers and their comments. Like, SBS YouTube was one of the latest things we sort of looked at and focused on. And it's only this year, and we just hit over 5,000 subscribers, which is a good milestone. Like, good work for Tom and that with the video side of things. Is with YouTube, you get the best comments. I fucking love it. Like, the amount of times it's like, one guy said, "This is embarrassing." I said, "What is your STI?" And he said, "No, you trying to do bodybuilding." I said, "Well, they wouldn't accept me in the bikini class." So the cock gave it away, and the balls don't fit in those bombs. But yeah, it's just having that. It's just me as an individual. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's you contradict what. No, your mentality about the contest prep itself and stepping on stage is so different to what most people think you have to be in that kind of state. Because, yeah, as we've already talked about, so many people think that it is that kind of struggle. You need to hustle hard. It is kind of a pain in the ass, actually, to get on stage. And it needs to be kind of painful, right? But then you come along, someone who doesn't really give a shit about bodybuilding.
I don't even fucking lift, let's be honest.
Yeah, I
like machines sitting on my ass.
Exactly. You're not into bodybuilding. You're 10 weeks out from a show, saying it is a super easy ride so far. And I think that it will continue like that. And it just contradicts to what many people out there think a contest prep will actually look like. And I think that it's super interesting for people to see that you don't really need to love bodybuilding to step on stage. When your mentality is at the right place, or when you simply want to actually achieve a goal in your life, it doesn't necessarily be stepping on stage, but achieving something in your life. You just need to put in the work and effort and have the right mindset to actually get there. And you need to put in the work and effort on a daily basis, like process-oriented goals, instead of only focusing on the outcome, right?
Yeah, I always say, even in business, the outcome will be what it should be. As in, for example, for the business with the SPS Academy, if we get 20 people signed up in our next intake, then that's because we deserve that. If we get 300 people sign up, that's because we deserve that. To focus on what we can control. We can have a rough estimate based on what the outcome would be, like a range based on the processes we do every day. So every day we prep, every day I'll go on MyFitnessPal and it says, "You've been logged in for 180 days. I'm like, damn. I used to look at them fuckers and be like, "You've logged in for 1,000 days in a row. What the?" I get a life now. I'm like, I'm that guy. I'm embracing the Tupperware Tony life. The tracksuit Tony, Tupperware Tony. I've had to get this fresh medium tracksuits. I'm like, I can't afford to go back up to 100 kg. It's not going to work. You don't look good. It's like these tracksuits don't look good on someone who weighs 100 kg. Let's leave it at that.
By the way, what happens to your clothing?
That's the thing. Even my belts now, it's like you have to go down a belt size. So you just have to buy them fresh clobber.
Yeah, I hope you have the money.
Yeah, it's like I had maternity clothes. I'm just doing the other way around. So I was just the opposite way. I was pregnant, and now it's like but you must have it as well, Steve. When you look back at stuff and you think, oh, even now I'm going. I remember a few years ago, and I'll be like, I'm going to get a 32-inch waist. I'm going to be able to fit in them. You get to holiday time, it's like, Dad, can I borrow your 36-inch shorts? Because I ain't got, like, the 34s don't even fit me. It's that thing. So I'm like, keep with it. So now I'm wearing clothes. And I'm like, damn, this is too baggy. But you
like
can
to the 90s.
The best thing to do is wear baggy clothes. And everyone goes, oh, you've lost a load of weight. You look really skinny. You don't look healthy. And then you go top man, you buy that skinny fit shit and the muscle fit t-shirts. You put them on and then they go, fuck me, you've bulked up. You go, yeah, I'll just change my t-shirt.
Especially putting on a suit or something which is way too small.
Yeah, it's like that fit, but you got your arms in like that.
I think there's so many bodybuilders. I think bodybuilding and bodybuilders in general, I think you've got a lot of like characteristics about you, like the competitiveness, the kind of you're not one of those people that kind of you're determined. You're not someone who's going to binge and break. You're not kind of weak-minded at all. You're very strong-minded, which pays off massively for bodybuilding. But then a lot of bodybuilders, and I probably have this mentality a little bit, in that I want to work harder, and sometimes I think harder's better, and I have to hold myself back a lot of the time. And it sounds like you don't really get led into I have to grind and work hard. I have to like make this really difficult. You just kind of flow with it, and actually that's benefited you massively and probably made the whole process go so much smoother. And I think anyone can relate, is like the most successful fat loss I've had is when I've just kind of, it's just happened and I've just gone through the processes. I've been busy with work and I've just hit my macros every day, haven't been obsessing about the little details, and it's just happened. So yeah, it's awesome to hear. In fact, I think it's really refreshing for the listeners. I think
you say about the working harder, Steve. I didn't live properly for like 3-4 years. So doing 4 sessions a week's fucking hard. No. But now it's just as you said, it's just knocking just one little knock, bang, a day. That's why I even say how many weeks out. I'm like 10 weeks, 2 days. Yeah, and I've been saying that since I started prep. But it's not because I've been obsessive, but that's just the goal. She said I think it was a good point. You said you've got the right characteristics of what it takes to do a bodybuilding show, but then I don't have. So it's like having the good parts and not adopting the bad parts. But yeah, it's just. I mean, I suppose I'm the only one who you've ever probably interviewed who's like, I don't consider myself a personal trainer anymore. I don't consider myself a bodybuilder. I consider myself a business owner and a dad, and that's it. And then I just get paid for doing something I love.
Do you think that being a business owner and a dad makes you more mature and realistic about the whole process?
I'm also 31 now, so that probably has an impact.
Come on, I'm turning 30 here in 2 weeks.
Old boys.
The old boys, isn't it? How old are you, Steve?
27.
Oh man, so
Getting
young.
there.
So young.
Yeah, I think being older definitely probably helps because you've lived a little bit longer, and then you realise that most of the shit that goes on in your life doesn't really matter. I'm just the type, like, I tell people, I can take bad news pretty well. Like if shit hits the fan, so something happens with the family or whatever, and something bad, I'm just like, you can rely on me. I'll be the guy who, if shit hits the fan, I will find a way. Like if something needs to happen, I will find a way. If it's bad news, I let it affect me for a little bit, and then bang, like, I can just carry on. Like I don't dwell on shit. I don't dwell on successes. I don't dwell on failures. Amount of times I have podcasts and people be like, What's one thing that you regret that you would change? And I'll just be like, it's a shit question, because me as a person, I just never look. I've had plenty of mistakes, but because they're irrelevant. Even when I come up with a business called X of 5, I changed the S for 5 because I thought it'd be quirky. And then I was trying to come up with 5 principles which would make up the business so I could get away with a 5. It was a terrible, terrible idea. The idea was to get students, when I was working at the college, to actually do personal training and basically me take a percentage and get the clients in. But if I didn't do that, that was the same business model as Shredded by Science when we first started. So I never really dwell on successes. Like you can say, oh, well done, you've got this many on the academy, or you've got over like 120 people turn out to a conference. Like my mum and dad can say they're proud and well done and this and that, but I'm just like, fuck it. It's just the next step. Yeah. I'm always looking at bigger things. I just need to, even from a young age, I've said, I've not been put on this earth, and this is truly believing it. You could say it's cocky or whatever, but I don't really give a fuck. I've not been put on this earth to just be happy with just being average or just getting by. And that's the thing. I think, well, I'm nothing special, but I can work harder than, if I wanted to, I can work harder than anyone. And if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And there is it's only temporary failures. And going back to being older, I think that definitely helps to a little bit, but just probably me just as a person and just having that mentality, like, it's a fucking dieting, for God's sake. It's not the end of the world. Just get over it. Perspective. I know I keep saying it, but it is a mindset thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't like all that mindset guru shit. I really can't stand it. But at the end of the day, before you eat food, you have to process what you're going to eat and then actually make that food or eat that food. So if you can, and I don't have any ninja hacks on how this mindset, it's just me. Like I can't say, do this or do this, do meditation. I can't fucking stand meditation. I tried it a couple of times, all that headspace nonsense but some people it worked for, but me as a person, because I don't get stressed over pretty much anything, I don't get stressed over things. So because I don't get stressed, I don't feel like I need to meditate. So when I try to meditate,
stress,
and it's like, breathe, I'm thinking, I could spend this fucking 10 minutes on the business. I don't need to de-stress because I don't really get stressed. And that's just me as a person. So I think that's why I'm finding the prep easy. One, because I am older and I can put things into perspective a lot more. And I don't consider myself a bodybuilder. It's just bodybuilding that I'm doing because I hate powerlifting and I'm not going to run a marathon and I want a challenge. And being busy and at the end of the day, it's a fucking show. You're getting on stage to say, look at me, I'm shredded. No one's going to die. Well, some of these competitors do. But you know what I really want as well, Steve? We'll be on stage. We'll be shredded. We can pose quite well. And that's the thing. I can dance quite well. So I'm like, I should be able to get these posing down. I can get into position. And the thing that I've got, well, I can't put on mass. Let's be honest. I can't put on mass when I'm in a fucking deficit. But what I can do is it's the illusion of being bigger.
Yeah.
Whenever you see some of these shows and you see some people posing, you're like, seriously? Can you not feel your body? Yeah. Like, are you numb? As in, that really isn't a side chest. That's like the fucking YMCA here. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
it's so really disappointing.
That really isn't posing. So in regards to that type of thing, it's definitely a skill, and it is very tiring. And the breathing things, I'm still struggling with it a little bit, and I'm not looking forward to being on stage and having to hold all the time for that duration, because I suppose you've competed twice, and it's probably a lot different than just practicing in front of a camera or a mirror. But yeah, so it's only dieting, isn't it? Come on now.
I think we've been chatting for almost an hour, but I think you've given the listeners a lot of perspective. I think especially people who are maybe even considering a prep. I think we get a lot of people who are considering a prep. They're kind of interested in how me and Pascal are going about things, and just hearing how you've gone about it and how actually comfortable it's been, and the attitude you've had towards it has been really refreshing. I think it makes a lot of people maybe who were on the edge or the cusp about it, but thought maybe it was too much for them or too hardcore for them, or people who kind of were in it and maybe pushing harder than they needed to. Yeah, kind of giving them a kick in the right direction. And it's a bit weird because normally you think, oh, a kick in the ass means they need to kind of grind it even more, but it's the other way. Like, they need to just chill out a little bit, take perspective. What's the best you're going to get? Like, you're going to get a trophy, a plastic trophy. Like, it's all
that prize money, let's be honest, is to make all that to make it's all that
rich and famous,
it's all that prize money in that natural bodybuilding the scene, the natural bodybuilding scene. And even some people say, oh, you should do physique. I'm like, no, I'd rather be that undersized guy doing natural bodybuilding, because I'm not putting on those fucking board shorts. I'm doing these poses. When I went to Gordon's competition, you see the men's physique. I think, what the? I wanted to fucking hit them. It pissing me off. I was watching them and I thought, if I'm going to do it, I'd rather be that undersized natural bodybuilder rather than that guy doing physique. And even though my mass would probably be better suited to that, for me as an individual and my motivations. And when I got into it, my whole thing was, I'm just going to compete once. If it carries on being this easy, as I said, we'll do it again. We'll actually eat some food, lift some weights, and then see what can happen and compete again, and not have a 9-month prep, but maybe a 5-6 month prep. But going back to, like, I want to be on stage and I want people to, like, when the judges judge you, they don't see whether you're a clean eater, a flexible dieter, if you fucking struggled. Like, I think you're an idiot if you make things harder than they need to be. And you stepping on stage and having the worst experience ever and being a hormonal wreck, and you've been stressing out so much that you've ruined relationships with your loved ones, with your friends, your business has suffered because you felt you needed to suffer to be able to say you've done it. Like, from people, some people feel like they need to suffer to make it feel like they've earned it. Mm-hmm. And I'm, fuck that. I don't want to suffer. I want to do it I want to be the most efficient and easiest way in getting shredded as possible, and then actually enjoy the experience of doing that, rather than, like, you don't get any more brownie points. They don't go, actually, you both look the same, but you struggled more, so you're going to place higher. Like, it just doesn't go like that. And that's the beautiful thing. Also, we use more of a flexible approach. We're not a clean eater. We're not an if it fits your macros. We're just eat food. Food is neither good or bad. It just is what it is. Yeah. And I actually want to get on stage and have those people struggling. And I'll be like, yeah, it's been easy. Oh, you've been really struggling over here. Oh, you can't get an erection. No, I can.
No, it really comes back to the point we are always mentioning, that people focus on the wrong stuff when it comes to competing, or many people at least. They focus about stuff like a DEXA scan, body fat percentage, how much they actually weigh, and does it really matter? Do the judges sit there and say, look at a paper like saying, okay, you are 4% and you are 6%. This is why you get the trophy and not him. It all comes down to how you actually look on stage, how you present yourself, which also plays a role in how you pose. And if you enjoy the process and have fun, it will also show itself on stage and the way in which you present it. And yeah, I think it all comes down to just enjoying the process, making it as easy as possible, planning ahead so that it's as easy as possible, and that you then again enjoy the whole process, right? I mean,
yeah, it's making it as easy as possible while still achieving your goal.
Totally, absolutely.
So I think what people make the mistake of is they either make it too hard, and because it's not sustainable, they don't actually get to their end goal. Yeah. And then other people go, I'm gonna go full YOLO and be as flexible as possible, but then they've not put the work in to lose the amount of fat they need to. So it's finding that happy medium where you make it as easy as possible, but still achieve that goal. Yeah. If you make it too easy, you might not achieve that goal. Therefore, that's as bad as making it too hard and not achieving that goal. Probably a little bit better because it's been a little bit easier. But it's having, and when people say the best diet is the one you can stick to forever, I'm like, fuck you. Like, people say that the best diet is the best diet that will get you to where you want to be. If it's a bodybuilding stage, then you need to be fucking diced and shredded. So you're probably going to have to be tracking all of the macros. But if you, like, I could easily get down to 85 kg from 100 kg and just track protein. Well, not even track, just make good decisions. But that's because you've built up those years of nutritional education when you know roughly what you're doing. And you could use your weighing thing, weighing scale, and say, oh, okay, like you could just quite easily just track protein, track your daily weight, not even track calories, and then look at your weekly average and go, no, I'm not losing as much, so I'm just going to make some small tweaks on my diet. Like, if that would get most people to where they would want to be. But then if you are stepping on stage, then you will have to be a little bit more calculated and tracking things a little bit more.
Totally.
And what I'd say as well, just if anyone's watching, I don't know if Pascal, is Luke frozen for you?
Yes, since 10 seconds or something.
Frozen. Am I still frozen?
We can hear you fine. So if anyone's watching and we've just got Luke,
there you are.
There we go. He's back.
Fuck you, Skype.
No, it was a great frozen picture actually.
It was. I'll say it. No.
All I was going to add to that was, I think something that has helped you, because there might be some people listening like, how the hell has it been so easy for Luke? Like, you've lost weight, you haven't had any kind of like major stalls or anything that stressed you out. I think the fact you came from a position of not having dieted for ages has actually helped you. Whereas there's people coming in through the MJ, we get it all the time, where people have been dieting for like 6 months. They come to us like 3 months, 4 months out from their show, and we're like, you're all eating nothing and you have nowhere to go. Whereas you were like, your body was very happy, comfortable to lose the weight. So that's really paid off for you.
Yeah. And that's when we get questions on Instagram all the time, especially when I do live. And it's like, how can I put on muscle and not a gram of fat? I had that on one question. I did it on YouTube. And I'm like, you've not even given me a kilogram to work with. You give me a gram, not in 0.6 or anything. It's just a gram. And going back to your DEXA thing, I wish I'd never got a fucking DEXA done that, because I wanted to, when we started the prep, I was speaking to Helms and Zurdos, and we said, like there's plenty of like natural bodybuilding case studies. And there was a point where we was thinking of maybe doing it as a case study. Because I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So the macros will be the macros. There won't be no like lying and shit like that.
Yeah.
But then because obviously the relationship with Helms as my coach and then them on the academy and stuff like that, we made the decision to not really pursue it. But I did get my bloods done, and I'll get my bloods done again, and we'll document that. And when I had my DEXA scan the last time, it said I come up with 2 kg lean body mass drop. And when you're there, I thought, right, I had a lot of fat and I hadn't been training. I think I'm going to recomp. I was so certain that I'd either not lose any lean body mass or maybe put some on. So when it come back that I've lost 2 kg of lean body mass, and we know it could just like lean body mass is not just muscle mass, it's water weight, etc.
Should have carved up.
Yeah, but that's the thing. My next DEXA scan is the day before the show, so I'm going to be carb
fully depleted.
Now what's my lean body mass, bitch?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd probably be, you're minus 10k. What the? That's the thing. Going back to this, there was always the margin of errors and stuff like that, and it probably had a negative effect on me.
Yeah.
By having that DEXA scan and saying you've lost 2 kg of lean body mass. But if I didn't have it, it would just be nothing changed. Like I still had to carry on dieting. I still had to carry on lifting.
Exactly.
Nothing changed. It just was a little thing, just kind of fuck. You lost 2 kg. You're better off not knowing.
Sometimes just the same with the scale. I was just going to say, like, you could blindfold just like some of your clients, you could blindfold them. I think Cliff Wilson said it on the podcast. He was like, I could blindfold some of my contest prep clients so they never see the scale and they get to stage. Like, because I know even for me, and I've been speaking to Pascal recently, like, scale's not coming down. What the hell? Like, just trust.
Fucks with you. It does fuck with your brain. And even as a coach, I don't care who you are, you'll tell your clients, if you was coaching yourself now, you would be like, chill out. There's multiple factors, and we still know this. Mm-hmm. But then when we jump on, even when I jumped on the scale and it 82.9, and I feel myself every morning like jumping on the scale, when I saw it go under 83 kg, I fucking hit my chest. I hit my chest and I was like, bang. So I'm like, oh, you just had a poo. But that's the thing, it's over that time, but it just fucks with your brain. And even though you know it, when you're investing so much into stepping on stage and weight and then your average weight is a good indicator of where you're getting shredded. It's not the be all and end all, because we know there's multiple factors. But Steve, if like you've been, as you said, you've been dieting and the weight's not changed, that would have fucked with a lot more people, like worse off than it has you. So take that into account and know that visually you're looking better.
And this is what we were saying, right? I mean, we basically said that you don't need to actually lose 2 kilograms more, but you need to look like you've lost 2 kilograms more.
Mm-hmm. Just literally just go and drink all the red wine and
diuretics.
Yeah, just literally go and watch a good comedy.
And tilapia.
Yeah, and then just chill out a little bit. And then, and that's what I noticed with my weight. It will drop. It goes, my weight like drops by 0.9, like on average about 0.7, 0.9. It'll drop and then it'll stay.
Yeah.
And then it'll, boom. It's always like, I get quite a lot of whoosh effects. I know like Lyle's wrote about it before, but I get a lot of whoosh effects. And then, so when I do drop, I drop big and I'm like, oh.
Have you seen a trend? I mean, in terms of, are there any circumstances which cause you to hold on more to that lean body mass or that scale weight? Is there any cause that there is a whoosh coming or something? Because some of my clients, I can predict that after a weekend, they always weigh in less because they get more relaxed. Most of the time they really bring down their stress levels and stuff like that, so you can really predict it. Perhaps you have it the same, but I mean your days are really structured and I guess like they look the same basically.
I've had a few. Obviously I have my high carb day on a Sunday, which is 400 grams of carbs, and about 3 or 4 times my weight would be the same as the day before, and I know if it's that's when I then get a whoosh, because in theory you'd say, all right, you're doubling your carbs, and most of the time the weight goes up by 0.3 or 0.5. But if it doesn't go up, then I know that I've got a whoosh coming.
Mm.
But I know I base that based on what happens the day after my refeed and that weight. So if it stays the same as the day before, then I've got a whoosh coming later on in that week. It might not happen the next day, but within that week period, I get that whoosh. And there's just so multiple factors. Even one week where Jamie went on holiday and I was looking after Len. So I'm trying to run a business, trying to take a son to nursery, which he's only there for like 2 hours, 15 minutes. And the only time I can train is when I drop him off to go to the gym. So I had to train Wednesday, Thursday. I had to train like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And because of just training and not having the rest days and inflammation and stuff like that, the scale weight would just stay. Mm. And then when I chilled the fuck out and had some rest days, it dropped. And even just like the time you weigh is consistency.
Yeah.
So during the weekdays, Monday to Friday, I weigh myself about 5:30. And then on the weekends, it might be 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I woke up, I don't know, on Snap, one day on Saturday, I woke up and it was like 5:30. So I went downstairs, I weighed myself. I went back to bed. I got up about 7:30. I then dropped a bomb. It was like little pellets, to be fair. It was it. And then I jumped back on scale and I dropped 0.5 kg. And that was just literally not eating, not anything. And that was just like a 90-minute to 2-hour gap. So it's just having that consistency. So like this morning at 4:30, when my girlfriend told me she was in an earthquake, I weighed myself and I was 82.9. The day before, I weighed myself at 7 o'clock, 82.9. So when I weigh myself at 4:30 and I weighed exactly the same as I did the day before at 7 o'clock, it's a fucking good day. It's a good sign. It's a good sign to come.
Yeah, I'm hoping, for me, I've got a deload coming next week. So I'm like, yeah, I'm hoping this is going to, like, I'm massively sore and tired and like, yeah,
your body's just going to help. Your body, you know this. You're just holding on to water just because if you're sore and you're going at it, you're like in that overreaching phase or whether you're blocked. I mean, I have my deload every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And my volume isn't crazy high anyway.
Mine is.
Just because I'm training. Yeah, so if we compared like our programs, I only train 4 days a week. How many days do you train?
I'm training 6 days a week, twice a day.
Yeah.
But like, not stupid. It's compounds, accessories.
Yeah, so you're still equating volume and not going like, bro, fucking volume.
Yeah.
All chest.
Yeah, but on your deload week, are you going to go to one session per day?
Yeah, and volumes like cut in half at least. Like,
Yeah, so your body be like, thank fuck
Yeah.
for that. Like, Steve, what have you been doing twice a day? Like, in your 10 weeks out or 6 weeks out from the show. Or
And
whenever.
I mean, the good thing about Steve's diet, for example, is that he can go back on experience. Because when he started his contest prep, which isn't like 4 weeks ago, but he basically started in February or March this year, then had a marination phase. We called it that. And like just
10 weeks not dieting.
Exactly. And in the first phase of his contest prep, he was staying at the same scale weight for about 4 weeks, but he definitely got leaner. And I mean, this perhaps is now the same again, and he's so close to stage. I mean, the body is under a lot of stress, especially because it's a high volume week, and also because you're that lean now that probably everything is going as planned. And I mean, you're coming from a maintenance phase, so there's no way you're not in a massive caloric deficit right now. So, I mean, this is good to know when you've already made the experience of dieting on how your body is actually reacting to stuff like that.
And the thing is, if you was a first-time competitor, you'll be stressing the fuck out. And if you was a first-time coach prepping someone,
you'd be chopping calories.
You would be making decisions based on just because you haven't had that experience, and you think, oh, if weight's not dropping, I need to cut calories, or I need to increase cardio, or I need to.
And you make it worse.
Yeah, and then you're just like a big stress ball and just a watery mess.
And this brings also up a good point that so many people are only looking for the short-term gratification. We've talked about it already. But also when it comes to picking a coach, that so many people only pick a coach for one season and never work with them again. But I mean, you've mentioned it. A coach who only work together with a certain person for one season doesn't really know the body that well. And the longer you're actually working together with someone else, the better an idea and understanding you two get about what works and what doesn't. And then you can make some really good adjustments. And I think that the value of a coach actually gets more and more over the years working together.
Yeah,
and still you're paying the same, like in the beginning. There's actually what you get in return is getting more value over the years with the same pricing.
But that's the thing. People always say everyone's different, but then when they coach people, they don't coach them like they're an individual. They're like, why is this not working? It works for that. And as you said, I've had clients for like 2.5, 3 years online coaching, and you know them because everyone, but that's only something you can get from them doing 3 or 4 cuts with you. So you get quite a lot. I call them neat freaks, where when they're bulking, you literally just keep feeding them and feeding them and feeding them, and their weight's not going up. And you're like, so when it's the first time you prep them, you might be a little bit more reserved. Or when they go from, I'm on 3,700 calories at like 70 kg body weight or 65 kg body weight, which I've had with some clients. And then you go, right, I should just drop their calories to 3,000 calories rather than 3,500 because they're maintaining on 3,500. So in theory, they should drop weight on 3,000 calories or maybe 2,900. But then when you've done that with your client, and because they're just really adaptable, when you cut the calories, their NEAT goes down. Subconsciously, they stop moving. Or things like, okay, now you have a new job. Where we first started working together, they go, I used to maintain my weight on this. Well, 1, you're older. 2, you actually have changed your career or job and you're not like as active on a day-by-day basis. But it's knowing that thing where you can, by working with someone for multiple years and going through bulking phases and cutting phases, when it comes to their third cut, say with you, where you know that, fuck, this person's on 3,500, you're going straight down to 2,700 calories.
Yeah.
We ain't, because we know.
Exactly.
I've really enjoyed this. We could just talk.
I was thinking, where are we going to get to? There's no cut off here.
We're just recording. We're just chatting. But that's a good thing, because there is no, when you have guests on, you ain't really had a relationship with them before. You feel there is that awkwardness.
Yeah.
You might have followed them for a while, but because we know each other and we're like bromancing, it's a lot easier to just chat.
No, but I mean, we could go on for ages, I think. So let's wrap it up, and perhaps give us just a small insight on how you are going to prepare for your show now, leading up to it. Are there any changes, any plans? What about the peak week? What about the show itself? Do you have you already picked your song and stuff like that?
I've got my song. I had an audio editor guy come in and we tweaked it. Is it 90 seconds we got? Please say it is, and not 60. I think we get 90.
I thought it was 60.
Oh, Steve.
He might. I saw somewhere 90, but it may be 60, so I may have to get him back in and shorten
Normally it's 60. I'll have a
that's what I thought. Yeah, we'll double check. I'm like, fuck this, because we're doing 90, right? But yeah, I got my music. It's Tokyo Myers, who won Britain's Got Talent. It's the I'm Only Human, so we basically edited that. We've added some extra bass bits in and boom for hitting the poses. So it works. It starts off slow and then it builds up and then it slows down again. And that's the thing where it's like, you're a dance choreographer now. So I know I haven't got the most mass. My best poses are my side poses. So it's like, let's try and hit them more. And then just practicing that routine. But I suppose it'd be fun. But it's literally, even with Helms, you look at my program, you look at my macros, it's nothing magical.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is Helms as a person. And knowing that he's prepped so many clients. And even when he says, I'm having a diet break on week 9, and I was going, I don't think I need a diet break. I find it really easy. Do I need a diet break? I'm like, shut up, Luke. You're paying Helms for his service.
Yeah.
The man knows what he's doing. If he tells you to have 3 days diet break, you do it. If he says have a week, you do it. Like, he's seen me visually in person like a few weeks ago. So you wouldn't be saying you can have a diet break on week 9 if, like, it's having that trust in the coach.
Yeah.
Which you can only have over time. So whatever Helms says, I will do, within reason. And it's just keep doing it and just keep being consistent on a day-by-day basis. And 10 weeks will be 10 weeks. Probably about 4 weeks ago, I was thinking, fuck, I ain't going to be ready. But when you look at weeks rather than months, when it was like 12 weeks, I was like, that's still 3 months. I've still got a whole academy intake on that, and I still got this. So it's a weird. It's literally having that control over not overthinking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, peak week. I mean, you guys know what like Helm's thing is. Peak week, there won't be any stupid manipulations. Whether the work will be the 8 months and 3 weeks prior to that, rather than that peak week. It's more of I think a peak week should be called "Don't Fuck It Up" week.
Yeah.
And I think a deload should be called a reload. Because technically that's what you're doing. You're reloading for that next phase.
Absolutely.
Autocorrect does it anyway.
This is what we always say. Also, we have a whole mesocycle. No, in terms of a reload. In terms of a whole mesocycle, which is called a primer phase. Actually, you're priming yourself and the body for the next block. And the same goes in a mesocycle itself in terms of a deload, right? You are priming your body for that next phase block.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, I think that's super interesting. I think we'll have to, hopefully we can get you on again. In fact, like if people actually like comment below.
Get me on like a couple of days before and I'll be like,
we definitely need to see if you've broken.
Yeah. Like, everything was so easy and then you are just wrecked.
Because it might. But I've been waiting. And part of me is really disappointed. Because I wanted to experience the good, the highs, the lows, but there ain't really been any lows.
Suffering.
Even like now, I'm like, I love chatting to you for like 1 hour, 42 minutes, 53 seconds, because it means I ain't even thought of food. And then when I walk home, it'd be like, yes, that means
it's only about that.
But you do, people like, are you more food? People like, are you more food focused? Well, fucking yeah. If I have to track all the macros, of course I'm focusing on food. Like it is what it is, but yeah, hopefully it might be interesting if we can book it in like the week before, just like a shorter one, just be like, so what actually happened, like a before and after the thing where now I'm like, got so much energy. I'm like, yeah, fuck this dieting's easy. And then like 2 days out, I'll be like,
total zombie.
Give me some IV caffeine.
I just wanted to get over.
you'll be vlogging the day, I guess, maybe, or at least I know Pascal's going to be there, so he's going to be taking videos. I'll get Pascal to probably vlog it on the day.
Tom will be doing it, and then I'll just say when you're on stage, and we'll be on stage together, but when I'll get him to do some video footage and you can just shoot it over. Same for AJ. Obviously, Tom's good at what he does and stuff in there, but he's been following the whole journey. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to stepping on stage with good people, good friends, and just enjoying it. And I suppose there probably will be like a post-show blues, because that's what happened when I put on a conference, like the first Alan Algon conference. You put all that effort into it. Yeah. And this is like 9 months of fucking effort for that one day. And it's just that post-show.
Half an hour.
It's like holding the baby in hand and then give it away.
Yeah, it's like, oh, baby. You can tell you're not a parent because that definitely doesn't cross your mind.
No, cool. Cool. So,
guys, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We don't need to do any plugs, right?
Fuck the plugs, innit? Who gives a... Fuck the plug.
All I would say is, thanks to Luke. And we'll have the links actually to kind of all of SBS if you don't know where it is, just so you can go find it out. Luke doesn't give a shit if you go there or not, but you may want them, so we'll do it for you.
I'll just say, just go to shreddedbyscience.com. Just save yourself time in trying to get the Instagram. I want you to save yourself time. Just go to shreddedbyscience.com, and at the top of the website, there's little icons. And if you're on Instagram, click on it. If you're not, don't click on it, and I won't lose sleep unless it's the diet causing me to lose sleep. I'm sleeping like a baby as well. Sleep's underrated.
Absolutely.
No, but not because all the hormonal shit.
No.
When you're asleep, you can't eat. That's what I do now. I'll probably go home and I'll be like, I'm hungry. Go to sleep, Luke. And then I wake up, I'm like, oh, it's 7:30, man.
Nice and shredded.
Calories. That's the thing. If you sleep, you can't eat.
Always keep that in mind, guys. And on that note, thank you very much, Luke, for being on and chatting for us for that long. And I hope that the rest of your prep is going that well. And I would say see you right before your show then.
Yeah, I'll see you then, guys. Take it easy.
Cheers, guys.